Hey everybody, welcome back. Another top 10 video for you. This time we've got Arena, War, and the PvP. So all that kind of PvP-esque action in the game we're going to compile into one video real quick. We had a lot of scheduling conflicts this month, so we were unable to get some of the stuff we wanted to do done earlier and didn't have some of the comments, but we wanted to get the infographic out at least for October. So here it is. We got the PvP section. Go over the fantastic infographic that Punk puts together, and then Punk does the infographic. Yeti, Cabra, and myself all put together some of the thoughts, theory crafting, etc. We all kind of mesh it together to the infographic we're about to show you. So if you like these efforts, you want to support specifically the Patreon tier for Punk, that's in the description below. Please come by. You'll find the tier. It's got the little pyro emblem on it, and those funds help support Punk specifically for these efforts. So appreciate that, and then let's get into these rankings.
Bring me WolverThor!
So far, I'll view real quick. If you checked out the other video, you've already seen this. The columns show each category: Red Star, Raid, Arena, War, PvP. From top to bottom, rank basically best to 10th best. I don't want to say worst because they're not the worst, but 10th, the top, all the way to the bottom. So we'll go through each one of these columns, ranking them. You'll see it. The infographic will be on all our Discords, which will be linked in the description below. So let's jump into Arena first. Coming up at number 10, Corvus Glaive, part of the best Arena team in the game in Black Order. He's in your 10th spot, does a lot of good things. Not the highest ranked Black Order in the list, obviously, but still making the top 10. Coming in at number 9, we've got Yo-Yo. She is still landing those offense downs. Depending on how your Black Order is, you might still be using her, and that's where a lot of these other characters come in, like Phoenix, who comes in at number 8. You got people who still use some of those characters, even in some of the top 5s and 10s you're seeing, and they're not using Black Order, and they're either paying a bunch to stay up there, or their teams are holding. So these characters have a spot in these rankings. One of them, again, is Black Bolt. Comes in at number 7, still hitting hard, especially when you combine them with Phoenix. If you get those defense downs at the right time, they can do a lot of damage when he gets that ultimate off. Coming in at number 6, same type of category. You got Mr. Sinister. He's dropping those heals all over the place, getting the clone. If you can clone the right guy, that's great. Again, on defense, the AI isn't necessarily always the smartest, but if he clones someone good, maybe an Ebony Maw, it's kind of like, oh, okay, how's this going to go? But Black Order still the top cream of the crop here. You got Proxima coming in at number 5. Gotta love her stun and her offense downs. She's typically the one people focus when you're attacking, so that you can drop her below 50 to get the opposite Thanos to do his flip first. Little strategy there if you weren't aware. I'm sure most of you might be. Coming in number 4, the only non-Black Order in the top 5, Emma Frost. She's still fantastic. Loving every aspect of her kit and her game. She comes in at number 4. Number 3, Ebony Maw. He is doing all kinds of craziness with controllers, as well as that ultimate if he doesn't die before then, depending on the matchup. But love him at the number 3 spot. Number 2, Call Obsidian, that payback. You got a high, strong Call Obsidian. He is making people pay with the payback because he just hits hard, hits often. And then number 1, Thanos. No doubt about it. He is the top of Arena because he just crushes everybody and makes you hurt. I mean, you need him. You want him at high reds. Everything he brings to the board makes Black Order just go round. So, and I still love, a shout out again to Punk. I just love that. He put that together. I just think it's really cool. So anyway, next, let's check out War. Okay, so top 10 for War. We've got Ultron at the 10 spot. He's fallen off quite a bit for War. He used to be king on defense. I don't see him at all on defense anymore. A lot of people place him on 4-person teams to typically attack another. Right now, it's Marauders you're seeing it a lot with, whether it's typically a Fantastic Four, loses Human Torch and adds Ultron, but he's still got a lot of use in this game mode. Coming in at number 9, X-23. Mentioned her in the other video where she's kind of a one-woman wrecking crew. Even though you really need the rest of X-Force, she can hold down the fort after everyone goes and survive to get those last kills. I've had plenty of those where it's kind of like, oh man, I think I'm going to lose. And she just holds down the fort, keeps healing, keeps evading, and then takes out the enemy team. I absolutely love her. Coming in at number 8 is Namor. Even though, depending where you're using him, if you put Fantastic Four on defense, he's kind of a lost soul. But that ultimate at the beginning of a an attack is still pretty sick, even though it doesn't crit if there's blocks or boosts. Just super annoying, which makes the Raider ISO pointless to put on him, but that's another video. So anyway, Namor comes in at number 8. Coming in at number 7 is Phoenix. She still does great things. She's obviously key to an offensive victory, and War is all about offense for the most part. If you can get stalled, or if you got a great defense and stall someone, clearly that can make the difference, but you really need to be like 500 or 600k teams, and depending on your elo and War, to get some defensive wins. Asgard, man, these guys used to be sick. So Hela is the queen of Asgard. She comes in at number 6. You know, these guys have fallen off a lot lately, especially with the symbiotes coming in and Scream just being able to get to those stealth characters. A high Hela still does a lot of damage in War, and you got to be careful with her. So she comes in at number 6 spot. Black Bolt is number 5. He is, again, a key part of an offense team. He can basically beat, I mean, you can drop Quake, drop Karnak, and still probably throw in almost any 2 hand tunes and win most of the battles that you need to fight with this guy on War offense. Now, if you get against a really high Hydra team, you might struggle a little bit, but he's still top 5 in War. Emma Frost coming in at number 4. She's on one of the better defensive teams in the game. I love what she brings to the table. That cleanse. AIM used to be able to rock the Marauders until she got there, and now it's like, all right, forget AIM. They're basically not used anymore. And that big reason is Emma. So she comes in at number 4. Coming in at number 3 is Doc Ock. Now, you'll see him on offense and defense. A lot of times, if you got him high, with high reds, high yellows, high tier 13, you're probably going to want to have him in your Sinister 6 on defense. In between, maybe not. Yeah, you know, maybe consider him as an offense option, as they do some pretty good things on offense and can even punch even a little bit with our Marauders, depending on the power levels there. Coming in at number 2 is Taskmaster. Mentioned this in another video with him. He really is just, he makes that team go round. I mean, you got a bunch of mercenaries who aren't even all that frightening. I mean, Bullseye is friggin' on this team at times, and it's like, wow, this team can still get wins, really? And it's because of this guy. So he deserves that number 2 spot. Only reason he's not number 1 is because you've got Thanos there, and Thanos is the king of the greatest PvP team in the game with Black Order. Is got to be number 1, because they basically can take out anybody on offense. And on defense, if you've got him there, and you really need to question if you have him there, you have to limit it a little bit, if you maybe a couple proper rooms. He is the reason that team keeps rocking. So Thanos at number 1 for the War rankings. Lego Helicarrier right there. So that's what we got for the War rankings. And now let's jump into PvP. Okay, so PvP. Now, a lot of people might not necessarily be playing PvP all that much. Some of us had to when we had those events. So that was kind of ripe in our brains when we were doing this. We'll go through the rankings here. I'm very curious to see the evolution of the PvP game. Ideally, they lower the time in game for other game modes before they do anything with making PvP really something that you go after for rewards. I love the game mode, but it takes a long time, especially when drafting. And there's no way a lot of people are going to spend a lot of time doing that when you've already got to do so many other things in game. Just gotta, so we were talking in my alliance, some guys talking about 4 to 6 hours a day just on the game right now before PvP is in. That's a lot of time, and that's super typical, 4 to 6 hours a day. Anyway, PvP. So Loki coming in at number 10, that initial special that comes out, getting the defense down on somebody and potentially taking someone out early in. That's why he makes this list, because depending how you combo him up with some other people, it can really wreak havoc on the enemy team. Coming in at number 9, you got Black Bolt. He's still hitting hard, saying it all the time. He gives that passive that and nobody can revive if he gets the kill shot. He's a great character. It's going to be around for a long time. His kit, his stats are just too good not to. Doc Ock comes in at number 8. You know, the summon, the ultimate, the offense down. This guy has got a lot of stuff to his kit. I really like Doc Ock, especially if you can kind of sneak in Swarm in there, or even maybe an Electro. He can have some fun moments in PvP. Coming in at number 7, X-23. She is even better if you pair her up with someone like a Loki or an early hit character that drops somebody below 50%, so she can speed up and get that ability block. And that's what you typically see happen with her, is that somebody hits someone hard so that she gets a turn before you think you would have gone. And it's like, oh, great, now she ability blocks somebody that you're like, okay, now I can't use that. I had Phoenix, and now she's a Phoenix's ability block. Great. So X-23, and then she obviously heals and evades and can keep going after that. But that's where you'll see she is so good. Coming in at number 6, Mr. Sinister. This guy, for his healing, for his clone, I mean, this guy's going to, again, stick around for a long time. It's the clone can make things really difficult if someone gets an Ultron, if someone gets an Ebony Maw. You're like, all right, I got Sinister. I'm going to bring him in and clone somebody. You know, it's like, all right, great. Like, that is a fantastic, fantastic toon to have. I mentioned Phoenix earlier. She comes in at number 5. She's still great. Again, you got to be careful if you pick her when you've got an Ebony Maw on the board or something like that, because he can basically negate her. Or even like I mentioned before, X-23, if she gets sped up, she can put ability block on someone like this, depending if they went before Phoenix and brought someone below the 50% threshold. Number 4, Taskmaster. This guy, I mean, he was higher before. That blind, that ultimate out of the gate, he really does just... He makes you pay. And I mean, the fact that he's got the stuns and all these different... I don't know. I love Taskmaster in PvP. He's fallen off a little bit, but he's still really, really good. Ebony Maw comes in at number 3. That ultimate, again, any controller situation to get the barrier, that's huge. When you see a Phoenix on the board, you're kind of like, oh, okay, well, Maw, let's get Maw in there. So you'll see a lot of people who have Phoenix who want to keep her will ban Maw. So that's something to keep an eye out for. And then Emma Frost coming in at number 2. Again, she is all over the top 10 of all of our rankings. She is so good throughout the game. I just love her. The cleanse, the short cooldowns, the healing, the ultimate. I mean, it's Emma she is like the best non-legendary in the game, or pretty darn close to it. And then coming at number 1, Baron Zemo. He goes so fast. He ability blocks somebody, and a lot of people joke that whoever gets Baron Zemo wins. So you'll see him banned a lot. You'll see him picked and then banned. So you got to play around that, but he is a lot of fun in PvP. He comes in ranked number 1. We'll see how long he sticks around there, but I love his PvP game. It really is fun. When I do play PvP, which I'm not doing a lot at the moment, but when I was doing it during that event, he was just great. And you play around with some of these characters, it's funny. You know, there's other characters you can pick on there, and we'll do the video's getting a little bit long with all 3 of these categories, so I won't go too deep into the math, but I'll show you some of it real quick. Okay, so first, again, I'll go through each one of these real quick. You can see, you know, Strife, Captain Marvel were pretty close on this arena list. Invisible Woman, Colossus. They were creeping up, but, you know, Ultron just outside the top 10. But then there's a big jump. You know, this top 10 is pretty solidified in here. And from Corvus all the way to Emma Frost. And you can see there's a big tie between Proxima, Midnight, and Emma Frost. So we had a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-way tiebreaker there to figure out. And then there's a giant jump from Emma Frost to Ebony Maw, Cull, and Thanos. So the gaps there were pretty large and pretty impressive. So that the top 3, Thanos, Cull, and Ebony Maw, pretty high top 3. Now let's check War. I feel like we could rank 30 characters in War. Honestly, we obviously don't, but you really could rank a ton of people here. I mean, Captain Marvel around 15. You know, you get to Thor, Sinister, Negasonic. Jumps up quite a bit to Baron Zemo at that 11th spot at 10.3, who just barely was outside that top 10. And then you've got Ultron and X-23 for that 9-10 spot. Namor, Phoenix, really Hela, and Black Bolt kind of in that next group. After that, you've got, you know, the Black Bolts, Emma Frost, even Doc Ock, and then well above them is Taskmaster, and even Thanos was clear-cut number 1. Unanimous number 1, no problem. He's the top guy there. So that gives you an idea of the War ranking outlook between the 3 of us and the gaps in between them. There were some pretty clear-cut tops. Again, a little bit more of a middle range, and then the group at the bottom or just around that top 10. We're all generally similar, but again, you could rank so many characters in War. But this is how we got to the top 10. Now, last but not least, we've got PvP. You can see here we've got in the 20-ish mark. You know, Shuri, Captain Marvel, Toad. Creeps up on their Falcons, you know, all these different characters here. And even from like, what is it? Really? Well, no, I guess from Ghost Rider through Black Bolt, they're all pretty close. You got a Ghost Rider, Symbiote, Spider-Man, Ultron, Loki, Black Bolt. Those guys are all kind of in that general range. Not too bad, similar characters. And then when you get just above that, you've got Doc Ock. And then again, just above that, you got a clear kind of jump 2 points to X-23, and then Phoenix and Mr. Sinister are kind of close to her, a little bit better. And then you got a pretty big jump again to Ebony Maw and Taskmaster, who were both tied for that. We had it at 4. Obviously, it shook out in the tiebreakers. And then Emma Frost at number 2 there with the 3 ranking. And Baron Zemo was the clear-cut number 1 as well. So that was we had a few unanimous number 1s this time. But that was the math. That was how we got there, where you saw some of the tiebreakers. Appreciate you guys kind of checking out these lists. Again, we're going to be doing them every month. Typically, we're going to have comments about them. I mentioned before that we had some scheduling conflicts that made it a little bit difficult this month. But hopefully this is still giving you an indication of what characters you might want to build. Think about, again, the Discord links are in the description below if you want to come chat about this. We love to kind of see where we're right, wrong, different, get different opinions. We factor those in sometimes. Maybe there's something we might have missed, didn't factor in. There's a lot of stuff that's in the game, little nuances that people might pick up on and say, hey man, have you considered this? So like I said, come by, chat about it, hammer down on that like button, click that notification bell, subscription button, all that kind of fun stuff. Share with your alliance mates. And until next time, I hope you have a wonderful day.